What is going on YouTube? I am your host, Menace Rex, and welcome to Project Legacy's first installment of the community questions and answers. I'm joined alongside lead developer Guag. He took the time to answer some of the community questions. I appreciate everybody who submitted questions in the Discord channel. That Discord will be linked down below. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It really help with our algorithm. And as always, we're always looking for feedback and suggestions. So definitely leave something down in the comments. Do not be afraid and hesitate to come to the Discord channel. As always, shine on.
I've seen a lot of chatter about this game. Partially misunderstanding what it is, and to be clear, a lot of that is my bad. I have had a lot of people talking for me because I've been so focused on the code. But this is like, me talking right now. And so I want to clarify. While I do intend to support this game as long as there are still people willing to play it, and while I do intend to, have official servers, that type of thing, all these things that are reminiscent of a live service game, this is explicitly not a live service game in the sense that I am one person that does not intend to turn a profit off of it. I have limited time. This is the spare time type of thing. I have a full-time job and all that. This is not going to be like some, oh, it's going to kill League of Legends or anything like that, like this is very much intended to be sort of like a, love letter to Paragon and to gaming in general, that type of thing.
So the first question being, will different languages be available or will it only be in English?
So there are two parts to this question. The first part is the game itself. That's the easy one. The game itself will be in whatever languages Paragon was originally available with. So if Epic originally supported Spanish, that type of thing, that'll also be available here. The launcher is different because the launcher will be out of game. I will most likely only be supporting English for the initial iteration of it. However, if we have people who are willing to help translate that, then I am more than willing to follow up with that.
Can testers make content creation of the test?
Yes. This is one of those things where it's like I'm not 100% sure when the tests are going to be because it depends on when I have stuff to test. But whenever you're in a test, unless I explicitly state otherwise, which I probably won't do, you're good to record, you're good to stream, take screenshots, whatever you want to
do. Can we have a Discord channel to leave suggestions? And this is also a two-part question. Estimated time to test this masterpiece. I'll let you answer that how you think is best.
All right. So for the first one, yeah, I can totally throw something together once there's more than just a couple of people playing the game. For estimated time to test this quote-unquote masterpiece, I'm not really giving myself a deadline. I am shooting for sometime this winter, so anytime, maybe December, January, February. It's a pretty general timeline right now, but that could change depending on how things go. I am aiming to get it into some people's hands as quickly as possible so I can get as much like QA and as much feedback done as possible. But in terms of like a general release, it's still kind of up in the air because I don't know what I don't know yet. There's a lot more QA work that has to be done so that things are actually stable for people.
Right. I think the biggest thing is like we do have the sessions where we're looking for people, but on a much broader scale. Are you speaking on a much broader scale? Is it going to be wintertime?
Yeah, much broader scale. I'm aiming for wintertime. Intermediate sessions. And for wintertime, I'm defining that as like anybody can go to the website, download the client, and play. For the like internal sessions, those have been running and will continue to run just whenever I have something to test.
Next question. How many people are involved in the legacy project, developers, etc.?
So the first bit of this, for developers, it's just me. For everything else, I have a couple people involved on the administrative side of things, and this definitely would not be possible without the help that I've been receiving from the community with regards to, doing interviews like these, doing, Q&A,
Hmm.
FAQs, just general stuff like that. Anything that's not like directly doing the code. I have, I would say, maybe three other people total handling that, so four total for how many people are like directly like putting stuff into the project, but just me on the development side.
And just to clarify, you are accepting help, right? So to anybody out there who may be, you know, or may have some experience, or whatever the case is, because I have absolute zero development experience, but there might be somebody out there who's QA savvy or whatever the case is.
Yeah, so I'm actually, I don't know if this was another question, but I'm just gonna jump ahead and say it.
Mhm.
My plan was for the code to be open source on public release. I'm actually changing that. It's open source right now,
Mhm.
so if you go on head to the GitHub, which is linked in the Discord under the open source channel, you'll be able to just see the entire source code. You can make pull requests, though I would appreciate it if you chatted with me first. But yeah, like general assistance is always welcome for development stuff, and I'm also more than willing, if you have the development experience, to just hop in a voice or chat with you to help you get a development environment set up so you can start hacking away on it.
Next question: anti-cheat. Is it going to be a thing?
This is one of those questions where I've just solidly put it off until it's a problem that I have to deal with,
Hmm.
I'm not planning on making an anti-cheat until people start cheating and it starts being a problem,
Right.
Um, but if there is an anti-cheat, it will most likely be strictly server side. Like, we're not talking, no Riot Vanguard going on for for this project or anything like that.
Have you reached out to or been contacted by any Paragon adjacent development team? Example: Soleave, Ometa, Strange Matter.
So for Ometa Studios, before I started talking about any of this, I actually reached out to Ometa and just asked, "Hey, this is a thing that I can kind of do because it was much less stable then. Would this be helpful at all to you all?" And the answer was, "We appreciate it, but no." And so that's been the extent of my contact with Ometa. For Strange Matter Studios, some of the former Fault people I have chatted with just in just to chat Paragon, that type of stuff with, but no like official involvement from any of the groups.
The Mastery System skins, is it a work in progress or a future plan?
It is not working right now, but there is plans to implement some basic progression, just that you're playing for some shiny stuff, that type of thing.
Will it be possible to host private servers or play peer to peer?
Yes. So this is a difficult thing to do because Paragon was only ever really designed to be played server client, as in like the server is not the client. Like, there are two instances of the game running on your machine in order to play locally. Now,
Mhm.
just because it's difficult doesn't mean that we're not going to do it. It just means that, like, if you're wondering why it hasn't been done already, it's because it does involve running two instances of the game at the same time, which gets a little. I'll be talking more about that in the future, but the summary of it is, when the game is available to the general public for playing normally, the offline mode will also be available at that time, and that will have both like offline versus bots, if I can get bots working, and just LAN play.
What is your plan for managing the ongoing server upkeep cost, if you have one?
Yeah, so the if you have one is relevant here because I have sort of the like general ideas of of how I want to handle this.
Right.
The general idea is that I plan to fund this out of pocket until I cannot anymore, and then I will talk donations then. That is kind of putting it off, but I think it's a good way to handle it because I don't want to, you know, I don't want to take money too early for if it might not be necessary, because
Right.
introducing money to the situation introduces a lot of complexities. But the TLDR of it is that I will not be taking money until it is absolutely necessary, like until this eats too much out of my paycheck to do it any other way. And then when I do, it'll be 100% like transparent. Like you'll all be able to see exactly how much stuff is costing, that type of thing, you know?
Mm-hmm. Don't want to burn no hole in your pocket that you don't got to.
Exactly, exactly.
Why did you use an old version instead of the latest one? I'm assuming they're talking about Legacy versus Monolith.
So there are a couple of different answers to this question, but the number one answer is technical. Um, So, for those who don't have a technical background, you can view Paragon's game client as a giant block of code that I don't have any sort of inroads into. There's some stuff you can do because it's made in Unreal Engine that gives you some like ability to discern what's what in that giant block of code. But the thing that has really accelerated this project's progress as a whole is the fact that the V34 client shipped with debug symbols, which essentially means that there's a map of everything, of every function in the game and every global variable with a human readable name to it. So it
Mm.
helps with development a ton. That's the technical reason that V34 was the first version that I started with. The sort of like reason is because V34 is the latest legacy version of the game. V35 they switched over to Monolith. So that is kind of the reason why we're on V34 right now.
Do you have access to Paragon UI elements, or do you just have access to Paragon in-game parts that you have to launch creating your own UI? I might have read that wrong.
No, no. I think so. I think what they're asking is, do I have access to like the Paragon Games menu? The complicated answer to this is that I do have access to it, but actually stringing it together so that it would be functional in the way I need it to be functional would take too long, and so my solution to that is to create an out-of-game launcher that then just boots you straight into the match in the actual game, sort of the way League of Legends does it, where you have your out-of-game launcher that you manage your friends in, you queue up in, you do champ select in, and then when it comes time to play the actual game, it boots you into the game client.
All right, I think that'll conclude all the questions. Um, Obviously, there'll be the Discord linked in this YouTube description, as well as to anybody who watches. Keep an eye out for the Project Legacy voice channel and any other announcements that might be made, because we may need some testers on a impromptu moment. But besides that, Guag, is there any like closing marks you want to say? Where can people find you? Things like that.
So people can find me mostly on the Project Legacy Discord. That'll be linked in the description.
And lastly, to anybody still watching, I am Menace Rex. I'm a Paragon member for many different Paragon groups. A lot of people may have known me from Overprime. Besides that, that is it. We'll see you guys on the next one.